Hello everybody, it's Ao from AoKane again, and today we are continuing our 2D top-down tutorial series. So, last week I believe we left off with getting our little treasure chest set up and getting, the bare bones for what we need done. And in the video that got corrupted, that was supposed to go out last week I believe, I just added some particle effects to the player and the treasure chest, but I decided we don't need to worry about those yet. It's more of a fine-tuning thing that we can worry about in the future. But I did go over in a community post how to get this treasure chest to open like this and only give the rewards once. It's just a screenshot of the code for it. Only a small change. And then I also set up an animation for it the same way we've been doing with all of our other stuff. So by now, you should have a little bit of a hang of that and shouldn't need me to explain how to do it. But today we are going to do something really cool, and we are going to set up a actual level layout. So we're not going to continue with this crap. We're going to set out a little bit of a beginning area. And then after we get this beginning area figured out, we are going to decide whether or not we are going to make an RPG game or a roguelike game. And I'd be fine with either. If there's no comments or no feedback after next time, I'll decide within the week. But if we do a roguelike game, it'll be pretty simple. We'll be having a kind of similar layout to what we have here with a random room generated. Random set of enemies. You kill the enemies, a chest will pop up, a door will open, you go to the next room, and so on and so forth. And then we'll add in some item randomization and stuff with our very basic inventory stuff. You'll probably buy items with the gold you get, or get random items from killing enemies, something of the sort. If we go the RPG path, it'll be more of a questing system, so maybe some fetch quests. Kill 3 slimes for me, I'll give you this treasure chest. And doing a little basic setup like that. And if we do it that way, we can talk about how to do some dialogue stuff and how to set up NPCs. If we don't want to set up NPCs, we'll do the roguelike, but we will see from there. But without further ado, we are going to do a couple of housekeeping things before we get into making the level for today. But yeah, so first of all, I went into our lovely Mystic Wood asset pack, and I grabbed all of the stuff that we don't have in yet. So that's going to be all of the objects, these doors here, and then a bunch of random decorations here. So I'm going to drag all of this into my project, just to give us some more stuff to work with as we're making a level. And we're going to do this same way we've been doing so far, just dragging it all in, and bada bing bada boom. And I'm gonna do a little bit of organization with our sprites. So we're gonna have floor sprites. It's just gonna be you, and we'll go with that for now. It's kind of floor, kind of also walls. We're gonna do walls, which is just going to be this one, and then I think this one, and then we're going to have objects, which is going to be our chest, our other objects, and our doors. And we're going to have, we'll just leave the decorative stuff out here for now because that's fine. So continuing here, we have our background ones, our object ones. So first off, I'm gonna click on our floor, and I'm just gonna set all of our dimensions to be correct, so all of our sprites are matching, and nothing's sticking out right. And we've set these settings before. It's just 16 single point and none. And I'm just gonna do that for the floor now because those are the ones we're using. I'm gonna drag this grass tile right here, and we can put it in our art, tile palette, tiles, save. And there we go, we got our grass tile. And then I'm also going to grab our wooden tile here. And we can throw that right there. Awesome. And then I'm gonna grab the walls as well. And I think I'll keep this in the background as well, just to keep all of my tile palettes in one spot. Kind of not what you should do, but it's how I like to do things, personally. A lot of other people like to have all their tile palettes spread out though, so they'll have their brick wall palette, they'll have their outside palette, they'll have their fence palette, and all that jazz. But I am a bit more cluttered, so whatever. But yeah, go into the sprite editor here, and I'm just gonna slice grid by cell size and 16 by 16, and slice. And you'll see it only grabs the parts that we want, so that's perfect. And I'll just hit apply for now. And then in the future, we're gonna have to come back and do the tedious tasks that we did with our fences already. If you remember from one of the earlier videos, we had to go into the sprite editor and we had to make a custom physics shape for all of them, which is just this little outline box here that just makes our collisions a little bit better. I can see that if I turn on gizmos and I click on objects, it makes it a lot blockier and nice for our setting. But anyway, we do not have to worry about that right now. So I'm gonna drag all of our tiles in here and click on tiles and select folder. And you'll see it's quite unorganized right now. And that's kind of just how things are going to import. If we want to fix that, we can look at the picture down here. And it's a tedious task, but you grab this, and you hold that down, and you can paint it on that button, and bam. And then that button, bam. And then I'm gonna erase both of those because we did those already. And this will take a hot second, but that's all right. And grab both of these, put them right there. And for reference, I'm just looking at this down here, just to do it quick and easy. Trying my best to not throw anything off too bad, but it is what it is if that happens. And I'm kind of just putting all my ducks in a row here. Just gonna take a little second. This, and I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, to be honest. I don't normally organize my tile palettes all that much because my tile palettes aren't huge, and generally I make my own, so this doesn't happen, but that's all right. So with all of this together, we can go ahead and make a little level layout. So, I'm just going to click on our grid, and I'll click on background. And I'm going to go way over here. And I'll actually grab our player and scooch them over to where I'm going, because this is going to be their house. And we will probably want a player for reference on said house. So kind of just start with some floor, and don't know about that one, Chief. Get a little bit of that going. Maybe see how big this looks on camera. We can just move our camera on over here, and I'll just center it on our player for now. So let's do, they're not gonna have a large house. We're not gonna be a rich folk. We'll be a broke little adventurer guy. And I guess most of this will kind of just depend on taste, but me personally, I'm very, I don't know, fantasy, basic genre. I like to stick to whatever that ends up looking like, but here we got a little bit of a house going, and we can grab this middle block here and try and use it the way the artist thought of. And if you don't like this, you feel free to do whatever you like. Grab these two, and we'll need the sides, I think. Yeah, so this will go here, and then we'll continue this along like that. Then we can go down. I might even make this one shorter. We'll see, we'll see. It's just a lot of playing with things until you get something you like. And that. Alright everyone, so I think I'm back, and I think I got something I kind of like here. All I did was take these, oh goodness, what's going on here? Took these ones, did on the top, did these on the sides, did these on the other sides. Basically used the pieces as they're displayed, and I just put a row of these as the back wall and in front on the background layer, and then all of the walls are on the object layer. So let's see what happens if we go ahead and move into our game view. You'll see that we're kind of just in a little room here, and you'll see we can kind of walk on the wall right now, and we don't want that, so we'll have to adjust our hitboxes a little bit. But other than that, I think most of our hitboxes are pretty fine, other than maybe these corners. But this is just our little starting room. I think I am gonna move it down one. I moved it up one, but I don't think I like how it ended here, so I'm gonna move it back, and boom, there we go. And now we got our little guy in his room, locked away where he belongs. But anyway, now we can move on to our objects and decorate it a little bit. And we're going to still say multiple 16 point and none and apply. And we're going to do this one a little bit differently. I don't know if we did this for any other ones yet, but we're actually going to slice them individually. Just because there's sprites of different sizes here. For example, this sign is going to be 16 by 16. If I can line it up right. Bada bing, bada boom. Apply. Then we're gonna need another one for Senor Rock, which is going to be also 16 by 16. Apply. Apply. And our table is our first weird one. He is going to be 32 by 16, just because he's twice as long. And we'll have a 32 by 32 here for the bush, if I am right. Yep. Our bed will be another 16 by 32. Then we got some really big guys here. I'm just gonna start here, drag down, and we're gonna have a 32 by 48. Hit apply, and our biggest one is going to be 64 by 48. And last but not least, another 32 by 32. And you could obviously do this up close and tight right next to the sprites. For example, you don't need all this higher space or all this space around this. But me personally, I like to keep it within a like pixel radius, like in the same pixel unit. So since it's twice the size, it's going to be in a 32 by 32. If it's on size, it's going to be 16 by 16 type of thing. But there we go. And then we can just create a object, and underneath that I can create a empty, or don't even need to create an empty, we can just drag one of our objects on and we'll give our guy a nice little bed. And that's gonna be all the way over here. So now we can move it back up here, and we can put his bed right there. And you'll see that it's not going to be on grid. If we kept everything on grid, it would take a while and just not look pretty. So we obviously want to keep things a little separated, and I think I'll move it back one a little bit. Honestly, since we're just doing this decoratively too, I think I'm just gonna drag things in as well, just to keep things a little bit nicer here. And we'll say we're just new to the area, so we'll get some boxes going. I don't know, just coming up with a little bit of story for why our character is the way they are. That box sprite is very matching in color with our house here. And just kind of set up a little area. We can also go ahead, and while we're here, we can make our doors correct. So we can say 16 point none, apply, and 16 point none, apply. And these are multiple. And we can sprite, editor, slice, automatic, grade by cell size, 16 by 16, slice, and apply. And go ahead and do that to these ones as well. And there we go, we got some nice little doors going. And me personally, I like the idea of using these blacked out doors. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag that up. Drag all this down by one. And this is purely me just being picky, but being picky is not a bad thing. I would recommend being picky yourself. Oh, I must have inputted wood twice. My bad. Oh geez, I inputted a lot of things twice. Don't need that. Don't need that. Do I just have stuff selected still? Yeah, I do. Okay. And there we go. I think we're good. Again. Back clean. Okay, cool. So, for the last time, hopefully. There we go. A nice wooden door. This is what the artist should have done in the first place. But that's alright. Again, just me being picky, I think. But whatever. We'll throw our door right there for just sake of throwing a door down. And might as well just say that's all our character has to their name right now. We could give them a chest, I suppose. We can give them an item prefab. So if we go into our prefabs, and this could even be like a little tutorial thing, we can throw down one of our items. And we can snap it anywhere and just say, hey, look, you have an item. Or we could throw it up in the corner and be a little secretive with it and say, oh, that chest looks different. We could even have a little pop-up above it saying, walk up to chest to grab money or something similar. But could also throw it in the corner. Not too sure if I like that. Throw it kind of off center here. I would definitely move it down one, I think, though. I think I am gonna go with this idea, though. I kind of like how it looks all together with the other stuff. Could also, you know, fill the table with something else or whatever, but yeah. I think I'm gonna shrink our room down a little bit, though. Just to make it feel like we again, we're poor. We're not rich people by any means, so can snap this to the rest of the tiles here. And then I'm just gonna go into our background and erase like that, and then that, and do the same for all this. And then I'm just gonna grab this tool and this one and move it, and do the same thing for all of these until we're all reconnected and nice together. And then do that again with our walls. And I feel like this will give us a good, quaint little vibe to having a little start. And obviously now all our stuff doesn't quite fit, so we'll move that around again. We can just grab our bed here and move it off to the side a little. And we can grab our desk, and we could even move our desk into like the middle of the room or something if we wanted to. And move these back. Can do something like that. Maybe we have a little workbench down here. I don't think we have any chairs or anything. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So, that's alright. I think this is just fine for now. So all I'm really going to do now is just add a box collider. And that just makes it so our objects, you know, we actually bump into them. And we can change them up for each of these. So for you, we might want this to be like right here instead, so we can walk under it a little bit. And we're gonna make this our table. And this way we can reuse our table again. So I'm gonna drag it down to our prefab. And we'll have a lot of prefabs, but we don't have to worry about that right now. I'm gonna delete one of these because I'm gonna do the same thing I just did. And we're gonna make a crate. And just gonna make it so you can walk up to it a little bit more, and also so you don't bonk into it so quickly. And drag that down. Our bed's mostly fine, just gotta get rid of some of that, I think. And that'll be good. Could maybe get rid of some of that top too. There we go. And drag that down. And our doors are going to be special because we're actually going to have a collider on it, but it's going to be a trigger, and we're going to use this to change locations. So when they walk to the door will open, and it'll if you ever played like a Pokemon game or something like that, you walk through a door, it'll fade out, fade back into the next level, or the next like playable area. So we're gonna do something like that, and we're gonna need our trigger game actions for that as well. So we're also gonna check for the player, and for now it's not gonna do anything, but that's all right. So we're gonna say black door, because in the objects we have it going to a black thing, and we'll probably won't even need like an animation for it. We'll just swap the sprite. We could do an animation too. We'll see, but for now we'll just do this, and that's all we really need. Yeah, And then we can go into our prefabs and we can add it in. And before I continue, I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to name this level objects. And then underneath that, I'm going to make a empty, and I'm going to say player room. And I'm going to grab all of these and drag them under player room. And our original item and all that jazz can stay over here because we're over here now. And we can just see how this feels. So, you know, we have that. We get a little bit of gold walking around. And I think we might even, with how that chest looks after it opens, move it up a little bit so it continues to feel good. Something like that, maybe. And we can move the crate up too, because why not? I think that looks pretty good. Bonking into our coffee table here. I'm not too big a fan of the shadow that's underneath our player, though, as far as going under or over the table. So I think we might end up separating that from our player, just getting rid of it, to be honest, but we'll see. But for right now, I kind of like how this is looking. And then again, our hitbox here is a little interesting. So what we can do to supplement that, I could do this a couple of ways. But the way I think I'm going to do it is I'm going to add a box collider 2D. And not in that way. I'm going to create an empty and wall top collision. And I'm going to add a box collider 2D and move our wall top collision up here. And we can keep it snapping with everything nicely by doing that. And I think that will be good. We can move it right in the middle here. And we'll set the size to, I think 11 will be perfect. And we just move it over a little bit. And with that, we no longer walk on the walls. And I think that looks pretty nice. Obviously, it's a little interesting having our room not centered here. So, a couple ways we could fix that. I'm just gonna go ahead and I think I'll just move the camera. I was gonna move the whole room, but I realized that's a little silly. So, yeah, we'll just move the camera right there. And I think that looks pretty good. And the way I think we're going to do the camera for this is in certain sections, we are going to have a locked camera. So it'll just be locked on the room in question. And then in other areas, it'll be the opposite. So it will be locked on the player instead of the room we're in. But I think that's a good little start for what I wanted to do. From here, we can go on and make our first little level area. So we can kind of count out how far our house is, how big it is, just by doing one of these, I guess. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 12 by 8. So if we want to keep it consistent, we'll keep it 12 by 8 in our overworld area that we're going to make here in a second. Otherwise, we could also shrink it down too. So we could do like a Pokemon situation where it's Tartarus. It's a lot bigger on the inside than the outside. So we could do like a 4 by 2, or we could just do half the size, so we could be 6 by 4 instead, which I think is what I'm going to go with. And that way we can just keep our door like right here or something, or even like right there, I think would be good. if that makes sense. So let's get that going. I think we are going to start with a good grassy field area. We can fill bucket that. Erase that. That going. So with that in mind, we're going to use a 6x4 for our house. So we're going to go 6 and 4, including that little nub. So this will be our house. And we can just fill in that with that for now and call that good. See how that looks over here. And it obviously looks a little interesting, so we can change that up too if we want. Which I think I am going to do. So first off, we need to do that. Get those in. Something similar to that. And then, honestly, just get rid of what's underneath for now. Or we could say, get a little glimpse inside. Something like that. I don't know. Kind of difficult with these roof pieces, not gonna lie. They don't mesh super well for making a continuous pattern. Could try. That doesn't look great either. So, if you're wondering how to rotate, it is the bracket keys. Gonna try and see if that helps a little bit. See if that looks any better. Well, it's getting somewhere. Maybe try something like that, maybe. Oh, it's almost looking like something I would like. How does it look if we just fill it all in with that? Maybe it looks better if we do it with this one. Oh, that might not look bad. It doesn't look perfect. Kind of want to get a hard edge on this top area. Maybe we could do that with this one. I only want the hard edge on one side though. What if we do this? I think that looks alright. Not perfect. If I go like that. Those do not mesh well together, do they? I do if we do it this way though. There we go. There we go. I think I like that for the purposes of today. Obviously, that's not how I would do it if I was gonna take lots and lots of time to do this and make it look perfect, but that's alright. So now I'm gonna go for a little bit of a path pattern here, just to make it look like it's been trotted a couple times. And then we can fill that in. And we can maybe make the start of our town here. So if this is what our house is, I'm gonna get rid of all this now. We don't really need that for scale. So if this is what our house is gonna be, can continue on. Just playing around with these to see if I can get something I like. And that is basically going to be what all of today is. But once we get a general shape like this out, it makes it a lot easier. Because we know what tile combinations will work for what we want. But yeah. Does that look like a chimney? Not really. Okay. I had an idea, so I figured I'd test it, but nope. So anyway, back to what we were doing. Let's get a nice path going. So I'm gonna block it out in this color. This is our house, and we want to make a nice little level. We could come around like this. Maybe there's another house here, another little house here. Go up here. We have a little cliffside action going on around just to block us in. And then maybe our next point of interest is going to be a cave area or something of the sort. And we can just put an empty little carved out area onto one of these wall pieces or something. Okay, so let's think about this. If we want our house to have a path, and then kind of have a relatively straight path up here, and have a little bit of that action going on. And then we can fill in the rest of this here. And this is just a light block out, so nothing permanent with this, but gives us an idea of the direction we want to go into. So I'm gonna just carve out this and say this is gonna be our starting play area, and it's pretty big, so not bad. And maybe we even want to make our house the actual size. I don't think so, though. But we can say we want another building here, maybe. And another one here. Maybe one final, like, skinny one here. Then, I mean, maybe we could have a big guy up here and say, like, oh, this is the rich guy that owns the land. And he's gonna pay you to go into this cave. So it works out kind of nicely with that kind of block out and directional stuff. Not gonna explain anything in this video, but I think in one of the upcoming videos I might do a little bit more of a PowerPoint on some game design philosophy, just so you can understand a little bit of the thought process if it's something you've never really gotten into before. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, though. But I think that's a little a decent block out. And we'll obviously use some of our, like, trees and foliage and stuff to make this look a little bit better, but just basic getting going here. Like, we could even do something like this. I don't know, but yeah. So now that we have this blocked out, we can say we want that path to start there. And then we can put that there. Do a little bit of that. I think I actually want this to start too wide instead. Just to be a little bit nicer to play with. Alright, so we have our path done here. So, oh, okay, I don't think I did there. That's alright. I can grab our player and we can drag him out here to see how this feels just walking around. Suppose, really quick actually, we can add a small camera script to our player. Just so we can, you know, actually get a gist of what it would actually feel like. So, let's just make a small script quick. It is 1:06 a.m. for me, everybody. That's alright, that's alright. I want to get a good long video out for you guys so we can catch up with where we should be. And then I think next week we'll finally decide what game we're going into. So, inside of our follow script, we're going to be following a set item. So, we're going to need a serialized field. It's going to be a private transform. I'm going to name this follow target. We're going to need a serialized private float. And this is going to be the boundary we use to see how close or how far we want to follow in our X direction. So let's make a X boundary. And we'll make a Y boundary. And then it's going to be pretty simple script. We're going to do a private void late update. And we're going to need a vector 3, and we're going to name this delta. And delta is change. We're going to say it's equal to vector 3.0, because for right now we're just going to start the change with the empty value. So we're going to say float delta x equals follow target dot position dot x minus transform dot position dot x. So we're saying the change in x is equal to our target's position minus our position. And then we're going to say if delta x is greater than our bound, or x boundary, or delta x is less than our negative x boundary, we want to say if transform dot position dot x is less than follow target dot position dot x, delta x equals, oh no, nope. Delta dot x equals delta x minus x boundary. Otherwise, if our transform dot position dot, oh no, yeah, is greater than follow target dot position dot x, oh no, I'm being silly. Delta dot x equals delta x plus x boundary. So if our transform position is less than our follow target's position, we're going to say delta x, which is this, is going to be x minus our boundary. So it's going to catch us back up. Otherwise, it's going to slow us down. And that is just for our x. Otherwise, we're going to say float Yeah, that's correct. Then we're gonna say if delta y yep. And then same thing as the prior one. I think that is correct. Then we're going to say transform dot position plus equals new vector 3 and with that I think we should be good. And for these I'm just gonna set it to something general for now, so like 0.2f and probably like double that, because you know our x and y are other way around, but yeah, that's all right. And then got that going, so I'm just gonna drag our player into our follow target, set this to 0.3 and this to 0. I don't know, we'll just do a square for now. And that should get us a little block out, so we can see how this feels. And now that we are in a much wider space, our player feels a little slow, to be honest. But it does feel like we're walking around a nice little town, so that's cool. Obviously, you're not going to be able to walk in buildings in the end, and this cave won't look like a brown splotch, but, I mean, gives us a little something going. And if we want, we could even say our camera could be a little bit bigger. Just to give us a little bit more view. And I think I like that zoomed out view a little bit more, honestly. And then I'm also going to say our speed can be bumped up to like 220. And we'll see how that feels. I think that feels a little bit more justifiable. So with all that, I'm going to apply that. Do we have any overrides for anything else? Don't think so. So, I mean, I guess we can get these blocked out in a similar way that we have this guy, and then we can probably call it there, because it is getting pretty late for me. We'll see though. I might add the border walls around too, just to finish off the look. So, going back into our grids. And I am going to do this first. Alright, so now that I got that outside layer blocked up, can move our player over here again, and we can just check out how this feels. And obviously we got a lot of, you know, empty black void on the edges here still, and to fill that in we'll just put more greenery and such, and we could even do something like adding another layer, so we could just go 2D tile map, do rectangular, say top layer, just for now, really quickly, and then we could add another blocking to this. That's our object layer, so our top layer, go inspector, default 4 for why not, and then give us a little bit more of a cliffside feeling, just partition even more, and give more layers to our scene. And we'll probably do something like this just to give it a little bit more of a layered effect, and I kind of really like how that's looking. But I think we'll call it here. Got about an hour and a half of a video to edit now, so I'm gonna get on that. But might be something in the pack for that, but that probably is in the paid version. And when it comes down to it, if we really get committed into this, I'll probably just pay for the paid version and we can really deep dive into it. But yeah, so with that said, we're getting started on actual level layouts, and we'll continue on with that next week. If you did enjoy watching, please go check out the now updated Steam page for the Catalyst Acolyte. It is my personal project Steam game. It'll be the first game I release, so if you're into roguelike and tower defense stuff, then it'd probably be up your alley. But yeah, I'll put the Steam page up right now. Go ahead and give that a wish list, and then thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful